Welcome back on to Sports Matters. It's 2 days to go until the Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon 2024. The Two Oceans Marathon is a 56-kilometer ultramarathon and 21-kilometer half marathon held annually in Cape Town, South Africa on the Saturday traditionally and Sunday of the Easter weekend, the weekend thereafter. It is a popular event for runners and sees over 16,000 participants annually. And among that throng this year will be one of NBC's news anchor, that is Theo Ishuna, who will make his debut at the Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon this weekend. Theo joins us in studio to tell us more about his preparations and also how ready are you?
Hey, well, I'm as ready as ever. I mean, at this point, it's been a year worth of training.
Yeah.
If I'm not ready now, but physically I feel good.
You feel good?
I think the last week has basically just been about mental preparation, studying the map, because a lot of things that you learn throughout this whole running effectively is actually just the strategic side of running.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pacing yourself, knowing when to push, when to relax, etc. But you obviously knowing you outside of work as well. You're an avid sports fan. When you're not supporting Liverpool, which I don't understand till now, you're either playing social football, you organize the Orange Moon games, the name escapes me now, the East versus West. Yes. You're a boxer for charity. We still call you the boxer. Just give us, your background as far as sports is concerned. Even at high school level, primary school level, you've always been a sports fanatic, right?
Absolutely. I think people look at me now and they think, this guy with glasses and suits. When did this guy actually start doing sports? No, sports has been part and parcel of my life since growing up in Ranjamund back in the days. The school itself actually instilled the whole concept of sport. Starting with swimming. I mean, at 7 years old already, they just throw you into a pool and you learned how to swim. But it also comes from my mom. Well into her 40s, she was an avid sports player. She loved volleyball, she played netball, and she was active with young teenagers as well. So throughout that, if I look at primary school, I was a sprinter, not even a long distance runner then. Pretty quick, never got to nationals and so forth. Eventually I transitioned to squash, tennis, hockey.
What have
golf.
you not played?
It's just been one of those things. I think once something sort of excites me, I get into it. I mean, you mentioned that I love sports. I mean, from football all the way down to Formula One. I think if NAMIBIA had a Formula One team, I'll probably
be there.
But I've always loved sports, and mostly because of how it's able to bring people together.
Absolutely. And now, of course, you've transitioned into a runner. Talk to us about how that journey started.
Well, it actually started with an accident. 7 years ago, I've been trying to run for the longest time. Exactly 7 years ago, I sort of attempted to. But at that point, I just thought running was just, you put on shoes and you just run. Fast forward, I kept failing, getting back, but getting to the gym was never my issue. The weight was the problem. Eventually figured out the weight, but I still continued going to the gym. Then I dislocated my shoulder. That was in December of 2022. Freak accident. I'm not going to get into that now. But of course now, me still wanting to be able to exercise, I was forced to only use my legs as my arms could not do anything else.
What better sport than running?
Exactly. But and so I started slowly just walking. I tell people all the time, I look at myself today having been able to run a full 21 kilometers. A year ago, I couldn't even run 2. I'd run 500 meters, run another 800. Walk, limp. But it was the consistency that finally basically got me here. But the biggest inspiration is my cousin's wife. That December that I dislocated my shoulder, we actually spent New Year's together. She hadn't trained.
Wow.
4 months later, she ran the 21K.
Can you imagine?
I'm also going to do it. And here we are.
It's interesting that you mentioned that there's a science, there's an art, to running, but also, the issue of the weight. And perhaps you had joint pains. You thought, hey, my knee, I have a bad knee. Oftentimes we accuse ourselves of these things, but we're just overweight at the time. And I must say, you have lost tremendous weight, Theo. And one man to another. You look great, my brother.
Thank you.
Just talk to us about, how managing your weight has, helped you become a better runner.
Well, for the most part, like I said, 7 years ago, I started this thing out. And at that point, I would get the joint pains, shin splints, where my shins literally feel like they're on fire. That's why you can't actually run that far. My knees would pain. And at that point, I just thought, okay, I actually went to a biokinetics. started with a physio, went to biokinetics because I legitimately thought I had knee problems.
Knee problems, yeah.
Eventually, once I sort of got onto the concept of, like I said earlier, I don't have an issue getting to the gym.
Yeah.
My problem was food and the bachelor lifestyle. Working late hours, it's takeaways, whatever it is that you can eat or make at any given moment.
I can totally relate, yeah.
So once I got onto intermittent fasting and I was able to actually control the food side of things, and I got the weight down, all of a sudden I'm like, but I don't feel any
joint problems. Yeah.
Why is it all of a sudden? And that's now where I started understanding, okay, I needed to sort that out first before I got to the running part. Yeah.
And here you are, gearing for the Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good. A bit nervous early in the week, but eventually I think the nerves have now actually turned to excitement.
Very much.
Because, I mean, like I said, it's been a year worth of training. I mean, I've sacrificed hours and hours. And the one thing actually people don't get you, or rather they don't brief you on when you get into the whole running, is the amount of laundry you end up doing. It's almost a daily thing. You're no longer even just doing laundry on a Saturday or on a Sunday afternoon or whatever the case may be. But the excitement is definitely there. The body feels good. This week has mainly just been on slighter runs, toning down the intensity. And the lungs feel good. Everything else feels good. And I think there's no wood there that I can touch on. But the amazing thing is the fact that over the last year, I have not had one injury. Wow. I mean, I've had sore joints at the end of runs, but no injuries whatsoever. So that actually is a testament to how well I've actually looked after the body.
Fantastic.
So now it's just to get to the starting line and, hey, take it from there.
And of course, there's only one line from there, the finish line. You're doing 21 kilometers, yes?
That's correct.
All right.
21.1.
21.1, just to be clear.
I don't know why the 0.1, but
I guess that's for the starting meter.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to be doing half a marathon. What do you know about the Two Oceans Marathon, apart from what we've seen, what we've read, etc. And we also have friends who've participated, guys like Gabi Ikena, etc. Have been there. Talk to us about what you know about so far about this tournament, about this competition.
Well, what I know about the race itself, or rather the half marathon as well as the ultra, is it's the most beautiful marathon that you'll get in the world.
Yes.
At the same time, when you look at the 21.1 kilometer half marathon that's going to be run, you're looking at 18,000 runners. I mean, about a month ago, I ran the Rossing Marathon, and we had 2,000 runners there. I'm trying to think now, how are you going to run with 18,000 people? But what stood out for me specifically, watching specifically the likes of Gabi and Silas Ipumbu, is how running builds a community. True. Towards the end, you've got those who weren't running towards the runners to motivate them to get to the end of the actual race with Namibian flags. So ultimately, we are always patriotic. So it's just how it brings people together, but at the same time, it obviously also focuses on the health side of things. And I've always loved Cape Town. I did live there earlier during tertiary and the varsity days. So hey, to go back there just to run, I'm excited, man.
And like you rightfully said, what makes this race even all the more special is the fact that, it is named the Two Oceans Marathon, comprising of the Indian Ocean and, of course, the Atlantic. I think the scenery will be absolutely amazing. But you've done, obviously, a number of local runs in preparation for this race as well. Let's talk to us about how these runs, be it the Rossing, etc., have prepared you for this weekend.
Well, I think actually it wasn't even the Rossing Marathon that actually prepared me. It was the weekend before that, where the furthest I'd actually ever run then was 15 kilometers. So that Saturday morning, I woke up and I felt good, and I said, all right, listen, the training plans is 16, so I'm going to do 18. So I started off, hey, lungs are open, body's feeling good. I get to 17 and a half, and I'm like, but maybe I can actually go on. So we get to 18, and I just continued running. It wasn't short after that when I got to 19 kilometers, my legs were on fire. But it's what happened from there on that actually made me realize the art and the science of this. And actually, when it comes to running, the mental side of it is actually way more critical than the physical side.
Absolutely.
Because it's almost like my mind just told my body, listen,
you gotta keep
all departments on deck. There's no leave today, legs,
everybody got to put in double shifts.
Everyone's got to put double shifts, and we're going to get to this finish line of the 21.1. And I looked at the stats after the run, And those last 2 kilometers were actually
The
my
fastest
fastest.
ones.
And I was
Wow.
like, okay, there's adrenaline, but it's there more than ever that I actually understood the whole concept of mind over matter.
It really
And
is.
more so what the mind can conceive, the
Very
body
much so.
will without a doubt.
An important
achieve.
element of that is, of course, also the music or whatever you're listening to at that point in time. What is your playlist typically comprised of?
Well, my general playlist when I'm running consists of anything, but I start off my run slow
Yes.
and allow the body to sort of ease in. So I'll start off with R&B,
Nice.
and somewhere in the mix there, because running is also fun, and a lot of it is.
piano.
Tate Booty is who keeps me going.
Oh, nice.
Tate Booty keeps me going.
Yeah.
There's even Boss Madame pops up in there from time to time. But the weirdest, what eventually when I did read the rules of the official marathon, we're not allowed to run with any earpieces. So the last couple of runs that I've been doing is sort of trying to run
adjust,
without them
yes.
and adjust to just you and your mind and trying to push your body to get there.
Good luck with that, man.
It's
Good
gonna-
luck
it's gonna be
with
tough.
that, bro.
It's going to be tough.
Any encouraging words? We know that many Namibians will also be, I think there are hundreds of Namibians who participate in this competition year in, year out. I think last year we had between 500 and 800, I believe, participants. This year we're expecting something similar as well.
If not more.
If not more. What advice do you have for the fellow runners, but also somebody who's at home saying, hey, why should I start running? And they say only the wicked run.
Our runners. Well, to my fellow runners out there, hey, you've put in your preparations. At the end of the day, you know exactly all the work that you've put in to get here. Now it's just to get to the finish line. Don't focus on any of the stress and anything else around you. And at the end of the day, remember why you got into this.
Absolutely.
It's the fun part.
Absolutely.
To those out there who aren't running, I think now more than ever, I think a lot more people actually need to get into the concept of running, because running in itself is mental.
True.
And with all the mental health issues that we currently have right now, I think our youth in particular should actually take this up. And on the health side of it, I mean, going from 105 kilograms to 85 today, you remember me.
No.
It's strange now, people don't even remember me now. People walk past me in the morning like, wait, you saw, who's that? So the health side of it is critical, because we live such unhealthy lifestyles.
Absolutely.
The stresses of this day and age in which we live in, whether it's social media or just pressures
Just
from
work,
family,
you know,
black tax even.
Exactly.
We need to ensure that we take care of our bodies.
Absolutely.
And there is no greater sport out there than running that gets the entire body moving together.
Absolutely.
So let's take care of ourselves.
Theo, my brother, we wish you all the best for the Two Oceans Marathon this weekend.
You should actually wish Cape Town all the best, because they're coming.
Cape Town. Namibians are coming. I remember the first 21 kilometers I did, and I nearly died. I'm not even joking, Theo. But you know, it's really an art. It's really a science, and it's a place of solace. You know, running. It really puts you in that. It's also a nice moment to introspect and reflect on certain things in your life, like. There's a lot of thinking that goes on, you know, during those runs. So all the best to you, my brother. I know you'll do us proud. And it's not really about the time, but just about finishing this race. And hopefully I'll join you next year.
No, without a doubt, I'll hold you to it. And thank you so much for having me. We look forward to rather snapping and showing you guys what's actually out there on the streets of Cape Town.
When do you leave?
Tomorrow.
Fantastic. No, safe flight, and all the best with the race.
Thank you so much.
There you have it. Fellow news anchor Theo Ishuna. He was now, of course, a runner. He'll be competing in the Total Sports Two Oceans Marathon, the 2024 edition, taking place, that is, in the beautiful city of Cape Town, South Africa, where the Indian and the Atlantic Ocean meet. Of course, Theo will be taking part in the 21.1 kilometers amongst hundreds of other Namibians, as the two will be taking to the roads in Cape Town. On to more sports news, the Namibia Paralympic Committee, NPC, known for its international success, has recently faced rumors of internal conflict. Some reports suggest the executive committee is divided.
Michael Hamukwaya, the NPC Secretary General, addressed these claims. He stated that the NPC, like any growing organization, faces challenges that need solutions. He emphasized that the executive committee remains united.
The NPC is not divided into two, as I mentioned, but as I say, when the organization is growing, it comes with challenges. But it's not, at the moment, we know it is just the elected official and everybody who are still leading the organization.
Letu Hamola, the para-athletes coach, confirmed a recent meeting among coaches to discuss athlete concerns and said that these concerns will be brought to the NPC Executive Committee. Hamola added that some athletes and coaches are unhappy with how the federation is managed.
Clearly, something is not right. Yeah, because we have handed a program on how we want to prepare. We have not received feedback from that. So which means that there was also a letter that went out. So what we want to is we want to get a clear pathway so that we know in May, when we talk about slots, it's not only these 3 slots, it is slots for many. So we need to prepare our athletes as yesterday, not like this, but in a conducive environment.
According to Hamukwaya, the Paralympic Committee, currently led by President Johannes Litwai, is working to address these concerns and ensure the continued success of its athletes.
The Nesta Sunshine Boxing and Fitness Academy is gearing up for a boxing event to honor the late President Hage Geingob. They've secured a sponsorship deal worth 56,000 Namibia dollars from the Marigold Hotel to cover accommodation and transportation costs